What's going on? It's yours truly. Just say it with me. They call me Mr. TALIAFERRO. How's everybody doing out there? So I just want to follow up with Kodak Black's case. As you already know, Kodak Black is going to have to sit down for a few years because of his involvement in the gun cases and pretty much falsifying information on a gun application. He's going to have to sit down for a little minute, and he's also got other cases coming up as well that he's going to have to deal with. But in regards to right now, Kodak's going to have to sit down because of a gun case. Now, Kodak Black and his team, and we want to get this message out there too, because this is a man claiming that he's innocent. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but this man is claiming his innocence, and we want to get this information out in the atmosphere for you. Kodak Black's team, they've been claiming for the last couple months now, they've been wanting somebody to listen to them. They've claimed that on October 29th, again, that's about a couple weeks before Kodak Black's his sentencing date, again, October 29th of this year, they claim that Kodak Black was set up by someone on the FEDS side or the correction side, someone within the prison that he's at. They claim that somebody set Kodak up to wild out. They laced him with some type of drugs, which pretty much put Kodak Black, he described it as an out-of-body experience. We're going to get into what he said shortly. And he pretty much claims that whatever drug he felt like was put in his coffee, it made him do things that were out of character for himself. He got into a fight with another inmate, from what I was told. Then when a correctional officer tried to break it up, apparently Kodak Black kicked dude in the nuts or bit him in the nuts. I don't know what exactly happened to the man's growing area in the nuts, but something happened to it and the dude's got to go get surgery done. Kodak claims that's not like him. Now, some people will say, yo, just being in prison could change you dramatically, dealing with that experience. But Kodak's claiming that's not the situation. He claims that someone on that other side, the feds or whatever, somebody drugged him, made him wild out to harm his case as he had to go up in front of a judge for sentencing in a couple weeks. Hence, pretty much, Kodak, you're coming to me asking for your freedom when you still wild, and as of a couple weeks ago, you still getting in fights and biting correctional officers in the balls, right? Kodak claims he was set up. Now, the judge that sentenced Kodak claims his situation or him getting into that fight had no bearing on what he was sentenced with, which is about 3 to 4 years. But again, Kodak claims he was set up and he wants justice. On his Instagram account just hours ago, Kodak delivered a long message. Maybe his management typed this out, but I'm sure this was Kodak Black who wanted this out in the atmosphere. Let's go to his IG. He said, on October 29th, I was laced with an unknown substance here in Miami, FDC. That substance gave me an out-of-body experience and had me feeling like I was possessed and dying slowly. Upon this experience, I managed to go to the CO's office to seek medical attention as shown on surveillance cameras. I was denied. This left me in a state of paranoia. Shortly after, I got into an altercation with an inmate. This same CO who denied me medical attention proceeded to pepper spray me, which instantly impaired my vision, and I was oblivious to who I was punching and grabbing repeatedly in the face. Even after I was on the floor, they continued to strike me and deploy more people. I was summoning for them to stop while gasping for my breath. The near-death experience felt like dogs were tearing at my skin while they were grabbing and beating me while I was under the influence of this unknown substance that mysteriously hasn't popped up in my urine analysis yet, and mysteriously the inmate I was fighting with went home the next day. I was beaten so brutally that I had to be taken to the box in a wheelchair. I have been here for 45 days without commissary, hygiene, stressed out, and on psych meds, having to mourn the loss of my brother Juice WRLD behind the doors. Prior to this, there was a few inmates who intentionally beat up an officer and no charges were filed. Meanwhile, I got into a fight with another inmate and this officer jumps in to inflict harm on himself and capitalize on my status as a local celebrity. I had officers tell me that the CO was okay that night and that he's trying to go this route because he self-checked himself into the hospital. I have also heard officers tell me that the CO has been back to FDC and bragging that he will have $250,000 from me. I want to shed this light on police brutality and the tactics that were used to cover their behinds. Again, Kodak Black is claiming that the Fed set him up and that the inmate that he ended up getting to fight with has went home, and that the correctional officer that he ended up apparently swinging on First and foremost, he claimed he was pepper sprayed and impaired at the time. He couldn't see who he was hitting. He said he felt like dogs were attacking him. And then he obviously said he felt like the correctional officer just trying to get a big payday out of him. And that might be true. That officer's trying to get a payday. I did read something. That was my first time reading that. I saw that was a lie though. He brought up Juice WRLD's death. I thought that was absolutely disgusting and ridiculous. And I've watched a Kodak Black interview as of a few months ago before he got locked up, in which Kodak Black flatfoot said he would never do a song with Juice WRLD unless the label pressured him into doing it. I believe Juice WRLD was on his last project, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember Kodak Black doing an interview with the radio station in Florida. I remember this interview vividly. Y'all know I watch a lot of content. And Kodak was like, yeah, I would never do a song with Juice WRLD. So him using Juice WRLD's death in the midst of his case, I think that's utterly disgusting, by the way. So I'm not trying to say anything else Kodak said was a lie, but that part about Juice WRLD saying he's got to mourn his brother's death, as of like a few months ago, I remember Kodak Black specifically saying, I would never do music with Juice WRLD if it wasn't for the label pressuring me to do that. Now you saying you in the cell mourning Juice WRLD's death? That seems a little crazy to me. But again, everything else Kodak said, we ought to take it into consideration. Hopefully he gets fair treatment. Hopefully they go review everything that the Project Baby said. And hopefully justice is served to whomever it needs to be for, right? Whether it's the correctional officer, Kodak Black, who's ever telling the truth, we hope this situation gets handled. My job is just to bring light to the situation as Kodak Black is screaming for help from behind bars. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all this in the comment box below. I thank you guys so much for the time, love, support. That's what I don't take for granted. Salute, I'm out. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
I got the kids, they tuned in.
We locked in right now,
Mr. TALIAFERRO.
Shout out to Mr. TALIAFERRO.
You're watching Mr. TALIAFERRO TV.
Mr. TALIAFERRO TV.